The US and EU are putting together a free trade agreement that they're hailing as historic and mutually beneficial. But critics say it's ignoring something: democracy. Now, a single market for Europe and America means not just regulatory differences between the two sides will be removed, but it's claimed big business will also be able to overrule the will of governments. However, the EU has promised big benefits of 119 billion euros annually. Well, let's discuss this now with the host of RT's financial show, The Kaiser Report, and here is Max Kaiser live from London. Max, 119 billion euros profit every year. This is exactly what the struggling European economies want, isn't it? This is surely good news.
No, Bill. This is an unbelievable act of corporate hubris. They've invented something now, the corporate state or the investor state, so that corporations have the ability to override sovereignty, to override countries' legal framework for profit-seeking and rent-seeking. To give you an example of this, for example, you've got Chevron Corporation, which has been active in Ecuador, devastating the ecology in Ecuador. Not only won't they be able to go after Chevron for damages, but Chevron can claim that the fact that the Ecuadorians are going after them for damages means that Chevron can sue Ecuador for the government for damages for being inconvenienced for the ecological holocaust that they've created in Ecuador. This is the most remarkably corporate-friendly, devastating, human-centric, non-benefiting law that I've ever seen in my life.
But money talks, Max, and this is mutually beneficial. So European corporations will make huge profits. As you said, it's about profits. But profits are taxed, aren't they? And isn't it exactly what governments want? Income from taxation.
Well, corporations are taxed less and less. You know, here in the UK, the big corporations we know are taxed very little, if anything. Very little of what corporations make and what the very wealthy in the world make is actually taxed. That's the taxable income, the reportable income. Most of the income that they make is either through offshore accounts, through special purpose entity accounts. It's completely untaxed. Look, Bill, I don't think we're really getting to the nettle of how devastating this is. This is basically a business model based on Holocaust. This is like saying that the manufacturers of Zyklon B during World War II would sue the million or so victims that were exterminated with the Zyklon B for having the nerve of dying because they were gassed by the manufacturers of Zyklon B. This makes Holocaust a legitimate business model. This makes Monsanto's genetically modified seeds, which are causing widespread devastation across the world. Not only does it cause devastation, but Monsanto can sue a country like India for the Indian farmers who are committing suicide because it inconvenienced them.
Okay.
It's the most devastating piece of legislation pro-corporation in the history we've ever seen. It's absolutely baffling, mind-numbing.
All right, Max, okay, just calm down for a second, because somebody will come to you and say, wait a minute, this surely means my job prospects in Europe are going to be improved. Why not let this deal go ahead? Because it's my life at stake at the moment in a devastated European economy. I want a job, and it's going to improve my prospects.
Because it gives all the power to the entities that have destroyed the European economy, the big banks that have gutted the European economy. This now gives them ability to sue the countries for damages that they imposed on these economies, for compensatory damages from the economies that they've just devastated. They can then get the governments to sue the citizens for more money after they've stolen the money. Imagine, for example, Goldman Sachs. They ransacked Greece. They stole billions from Greece. Now this gives them the ability to sue the Greek government for more compensatory damages from the Greek government, who then has to go to the population to collect more money. This is giving the extrajudicial power to corporations, creating an investor state to give them powers beyond imaginable, even in the worst Orwellian nightmare. Whoever cooked this up, and I know who it is, by the way, Barack Obama, the most corporate-friendly, Holocaust, genocide-provoking idiot that has ever occupied the White House. He just threw the keys to these corporations and said, sue everybody you kill. It makes killing and genocide a legitimate business model.
Okay, more strong words from me, but what I want to ask you, surely Brussels will listen to what you have to say. They will have those concerns, and they will surely make those laws protecting consumer interests and indeed the environment from any invasive policies from the US. Surely they're not just going to let that stand back. We know how strong Brussels is with legislation anyway.
Look, some countries are pushing back against this, but unfortunately, in this current era, with the NSA spying on every country, what happened to Angela Merkel in Europe? She said, I don't want the NSA spying on me. Now she's laying down, supine, just letting this new law which favors American corporations to roll over her like a little frau in the woods, like a Bambi in the woods, just roll over. Well, she should stand up for her citizens. She's being completely duplicitous by saying, we don't want NSA, but we want this new law. So she's been identified as a completely duplicitous, completely in the pocket of American corporations. There are some countries that are trying to push back, but remember, with the NSA in power, with the US dollar as world reserve currency and the Federal Reserve Bank running the world's economy, there's very little recourse. And you've got extrajudicial killing, extrajudicial lawmaking. America has become a rogue state. America has become an outlaw state. And these countries have to wake up, or they're going to find themselves in this American casino gulag state, where they're just being thrown down into a dungeon and forced to trade online virtual games to make virtual gold for their masters at Facebook or some other virtual corporation or gaming entity or casino operator. It's devastating, Bill.
As usual, giving it to us very straight. Max Kaiser, live in London. Glad there's a few thousand miles between us, because that was quite something. Thank you very much indeed, Max, for sharing us your honest thoughts. Thank you.
Sure, Bill.